What is up, everyone? Welcome to the new and improved What's in the Box score. I am Rick Weiner, joined as always by my distinguished co-host and the man who put this all together, Mr. Mark Rowlands. Although, Mark, I'm quite offended by your attire this evening.
Listen,
what in the hell is that?
I was originally going to go out to lunch with my grandpa today, so I was like, yeah, I'll throw on something a little nice, I just threw the hat on because my hair was an absolute mess. But so I was like, yeah, I'll throw something on a little nice. Got the red polo, the Red Sox pullover goes nice. Got some navy blue shorts on. And I was like, this will be perfect attire for the podcast when we discuss the hottest team in the Grapefruit League, the Boston Red Sox, who refused to lose games, and Ryan Fitzgerald turned into Babe Ruth.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But the Yankees, at least we signed Marwin Gonzalez.
Yeah, my buddy texted me earlier today, and he's a big Yankee fan. He goes, when the hell did Marwin Gonzalez get on the Yankees?
That's what I said, because I missed it. And my buddy in a group chat was just like, we have Marwin Gonzalez, seriously?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, huh? What are you talking about? But before we get into the happier stuff, I think we need to start off. I hate to do it, but let's get this out of the way. Some sad news. This is the 21-year anniversary of Randy Johnson committing murder. For those who don't remember or who were not alive,
laugh.
No, it's funny. It's incredibly sad.
Randy Johnson hilarious.
Murdered a dove in a spring training game with a fastball that didn't even count because the ump ruled it a no pitch. But if you have not seen the video, please, here you go. I mean, I don't know what's more impressive, that he hit the bird or just the explosion afterwards. What is it? What's more impressive, that he hit a moving bird or that he made the thing explode?
I mean, we've got to be talking. That's at least, this is prime 21 years ago. This is prime Randy Johnson. That's at least 99 miles an hour. Like that is
this was I think the middle of his 4 Cy Youngs in a row.
Yes, it was. I just got to watch this full speed again.
But listen to the sound that the ball makes when it hits the bird.
Yeah,
it's only slightly duller than the sound of a ball off of Aaron Judge's bat.
This poor bird, this poor helpless bird. And I will say it's more impressive that he hit it, because that's just unbelievable timing. Like God was like, I'm going to send a bird through here and let's just see if he hits it. But the explosion always makes me laugh. It just goes poof. You barely see the carcass, without the feathers, fall on the other end. It sort of looks like the bird just exploded into dust.
Yeah, well, okay, so I remember reading an interview with the umpire, and he was like, I didn't even see the ball. All I saw were feathers. He's like, there were feathers in pieces everywhere.
I can't stop watching this.
And then Jeff Kent carrying the dead bird off the field with a gigantic smile on his face. Like, I can't believe this is happening.
It's one of the craziest things to ever happen on a baseball field.
It really is, but let's be honest. Randy Johnson did the job that security refused to do. That bird didn't buy a ticket.
That bird is a freeloader.
He broke into the game. Like, he was going to get thrown out if security could have caught up with him. Now he's just like, let me see what's going on down here. I'll just sit on the field. No one will notice. Randy Johnson noticed. It's one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
I saw one of my favorite Twitter people earlier. His name is Coley Mick. I'm pretty sure he called it the funniest thing to ever happen on... Yeah, here it is. Comfortably the funniest thing that's ever happened in sports history. And then he goes on to say, At least in recorded sports history, I'd pay big money to see that Cleveland pitcher get struck by lightning, lay dead on the ground for 5 minutes, stand up, and then finish the game.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. I mean, I don't know. Mark Friedrich talking to himself on the mound. The
Another
videos
bird.
that I've seen, that's hysterical.
Oh, yeah.
But this is definitely up there. If it's not the funniest, it's certainly the most bizarre.
Most improbable for sure. I mean, what are the odds?
Yeah, well, like you said before, you were like, yeah, God was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna send this bird and see what happens.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if God wasn't like, yo, I'll bet you $50 he can't hit this.
And that was the last time the good Lord ever bet against the big unit.
Yes, sir. Speaking of big things, since you're wearing that shirt and that hat, let's just get the Trevor Story nonsense out of the way. Does this put them on semi-equal footing with Toronto?
No.
Thank you.
Toronto's still a better team. The Red Sox still have zero pitching. Chris Sale is hurt again. Nate Eovaldi's great. And if Tanner Houck isn't in the rotation full time this year, I'm going to start a riot. But they still have no pitching, and I'm cautiously optimistic about Trevor Story. Those home road splits are bad.
They are.
They're really bad. We're not talking like when we went over Todd Helton's Hall of Fame case, and you look at the home road splits. At home, he's Ted Williams, and on the road, he's Will Clark. And it's like, oh, man, he's still really good on the road,
Yeah.
And Trevor Story's road splits, he's a platoon utility player, realistically. Like, that's what he seems like. I will say his swing is perfectly suited for Fenway Park. He's still going to hit home runs. But I don't think we're going to see the 280 hitter. I think we'll see 240 with 25 home runs and good defense at second base, which I'll take any day of the week. Would I have given him 6 years and 140? Probably not.
Yeah, I thought that contract was the most interesting part of it, more than the fit. Because to me, I'm sitting here going, well, gee, Xander Bogaerts can opt out of his contract after this year. Is this Boston hedging their bets? Or is this Boston already knowing that Xander's got 1 foot out the door?
It seems to me, and obviously I'm not in Boston. I'm not hanging out at Fenway South down in JetBlue Park, but it seems to me Xander wants to stay. That's the only impression he's ever given off, is that Xander will be the shortstop for the Boston Red Sox for the foreseeable future. And I want nothing more. Ever since he first came up, I've been calling him the X Factor. I love the guy. One of my favorite players in my lifetime. I love Xander Bogaerts, and I want nothing more than for him to remain the shortstop of the Red Sox. But it is worrisome. That contract did worry me, as to be like, okay, he's going to play second base this year. But if Xander opts out, I mean, at least we have a shortstop, but he's not going to be as good as Xander Bogaerts.
No, but that's the other thing, right? Because hasn't Story's stance all along been, look, I'll switch positions for a year, but I'm a shortstop.
Yeah.
So, like, part of me is going like, all right, what did Boston promise him? Like, look, you play second base for us this year, and then you're the next shortstop of the Boston Red Sox. Like that, if I'm a Red Sox fan, that's given me some pause.
The only thing I can think of that it wouldn't be Xander's gone and Story moves to short would be maybe Dahlbeck doesn't work out this year. Maybe the end of the year last year was more flukish, and they move Raffy over to first, Xander to third, Story to short, and then figure out what the hell to do with Tristan Cassis when he's ready.
Yeah, to see that, I hadn't thought of that. That actually makes a lot of sense. Although I do happen to like Bobby Dahlbeck, and
I love Bobby Dahlbeck.
I don't know why, but I like Bobby Dahlbeck.
No, it's because he's got a perfect name for Boston. Bobby Dahlbeck is one of the best names a Boston athlete can have.
Yeah, there is really very few other places that he could play.
Yeah, it's like Nomar. If Noma Gashiapara played the majority of his career anywhere else, it would have been an absolute shame.
Don't don't start being fancy with the pronunciation of Noma's name.
Th-
I'm sorry,
that's how.
Noma.
Yeah, Noma Gashiapara. Is
No, it's the Gassi. That's what's getting me. It's the way you're pronouncing the C. It's Garcia Para.
well, not in Boston. They're all drunk. They're all slurring their words all the time. So it's Gashiapara.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mark's opinions of Boston do not reflect mine.
It's my favorite place on earth.
I happen to love Boston.
It to
I will
death.
be there in May. So please, if you see me, I'm not this guy who's calling you all drunk. Which this that way.
There you go.
There you are. I'm not him.
Favorite city on the planet. I love it to death. I've only been twice, but the 2 times I've been, I've had the most fun. So absolute zero ill will towards Bostonians on this program.
They'll just call them all sloppy drunks.
I mean, I say the same about Irish people. I'm Irish. I mean, it's
that is true.
I say Eagles fans are the worst fan base in sports. I'm a diehard Eagles fan. Like,
well, because they are.
Yes, they are.
No other fan base in the history of mankind have pelted Santa Claus with batteries.
Exactly.
I mean, who throws a battery, much less a battery at Santa? Because he didn't bring you the pony you wanted when you were 6? You see the guy 20 years later and pelt him with a D battery? Freaking savages.
Mm-hmm.
This is not so much on the field related, but this is another look forward since we're talking about what could possibly happen in the future. This is going to happen. Adam Wainwright is recording an album after the season.
Oh, I did not see this. I thought you were going to bring up something else. This is fantastic.
Yeah, Adam Wainwright, his wife gave him a guitar when he was in the minors that he said he picked up 3 times.
Nice.
Maybe. And then when he got injured in 2011, he's like, I had to do something. So started playing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's met a couple of people and he's releasing a country album. He's got 14 original songs already written and he's going to record it this offseason. My question to you is twofold. 1, will you listen to the album? 2, if you had to create, and this is just random, if you had to create a supergroup comprised of ball players, not knowing whether these guys that can actually play an instrument or sing or anything, let's go vocalist, lead guitarist, bass player, drummer.
Does it have to be a ball player or can it be someone tangentially related to baseball?
I'll take in the baseball universe.
Okay. First, I will listen to this with a caveat. I'm expecting Joe West to be on at least one track. If Cowboy Joe isn't on at least one track, I don't know if it's going to be going in the Spotify rotation. But
I don't think he said anything about Joe West.
Vocalist, putting together the super group. Vocalist, I'm going to go Bronson Arroyo. He's got the voice of an angel. I remember when I was a kid, like him just being around the Red Sox, singing country songs all the time. Lead guitarist, this is why I wanted someone just in the baseball realm. Peter Gammons is a very good guitar player.
Yeah, he really is a good guitar player.
So I want Gammons on lead guitar. Bass, I'll probably go with another guy that I know just plays. I think Jake Peavy plays a little guitar. He can play bass. He can't see the crowd in front of him or even what instrument he's playing, so he'll probably think it's a guitar. But I'll throw Peavy on bass, and then drummer. Who would be a good drummer? It's got to be someone with good rhythm. Good. I feel like I'm about to make this all pitchers, and I don't care. Well, all the pitchers do play music.
Yeah, but Peter Gammons isn't a pitcher.
Well, no, outside of Peter Gammons, but the supporting group around Gammons. All pitchers play music. It's a thing. If you're a Southern pitcher, you play music because you have nothing to do on your other 4 days. So I'll take someone with, I'll take a, I'll take Noah Syndergaard as my drummer.
I like it. Interesting.
Thor, hammer. He'll be hammering the drums. He's got the long hair. He looks like a drummer. Big guy.
I get you. You want Noah Syndergaard to channel his inner Taylor Hawkins.
Exactly. Yes. Become Taylor Hawkins. He can sing a little bit if he wants, if they're playing a Zeppelin tune, like when Foo Fighters randomly plays rock and roll or something, and Taylor Hawkins comes out to be Robert Plant, that's all you need. So yeah, I'll take Gammons, Arroyo, PV, and Syndergaard.
I like it. So the only crossover we have is Arroyo, but I have Arroyo as my bass player.
Okay.
And the only reason I went with bass is because I know he can play the guitar. And I figure if he can play the guitar, he can play the bass.
Fairly similar.
He can certainly at least figure it out. Gammons is an interesting one, and I don't want to be accused of being ageist, but I don't think Peter Gammons can hang with with the rest of my band.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Gammons is a wild one.
Speaking of wild, my lead singer is a freaking maniac.
Oh boy.
It's David Wells.
Boomer, of course.
David Wells is he's my front man. I want an electrifying front man because no matter what happens, whether he can sing or not, you're gonna get a show and you're gonna be entertained.
Boomer's gonna have a blast.
Is my front man. Guitarist is Bernie Williams.
Yeah, great pick.
Arroyo is my bass player. And drums, I want someone who can just beat the living shit out of the drums. So I'm trying to think of the biggest, strongest guy I can find. I'm also trying to think of someone who's got a little bit of anger in him. Luke Voigt seems like a very angry individual.
That's a good one.
So Luke Voigt's my drummer.
And so he'll be back there with the shirt off too, and the biceps.
He'll go back. He'll have the Yankee logo on the drum head so he can beat on the Yankees.
Oh, man.
He'll have a picture of Anthony Rizzo, on the bass drum that he kicks. Because apparently, even when there's no bass drum part, he'll just be kicking it anyway. Luke Voigt doesn't even need a pedal. He'll just kick the drum because it's got Rizzo's face on it. I've never seen someone be so upset that a team re-signed a former teammate that apparently everyone else loves except for him. And I get it. He took your job, but maybe if you were better at your job, they wouldn't.
Yeah, maybe if you stayed healthy last year,
Or just little things, little things. But all right, so that was some fun. You are the podcast expert on all things college baseball. So please explain to me how Ben Joyce is a real thing. Where did he come from and what is he on? Because
no idea.
You have 3 straight fastballs that go 102, 103, 104, and a 91 mile an hour changeup. A 91 mile an hour changeup. That's insane.
Here's
it's
here's the slider.
I missed the slider. His slider looks like a fastball.
It's a cutter. He throws a cutter.
That's Mo. That's Mariano Rivera's pitch. God.
I said a couple weeks ago that the Hispanic Titanic might be my favorite nickname in college baseball. Have you heard this guy's nickname?
No. What is it?
The Volunteer Fireman.
I love and hate that at the same time.
It's so simple, but at the same time, it's so beautiful.
And it's so cheesy.
It's so cheesy, but I love it.
I mean, it's great. I mean, he's a Tennessee Volunteer, so I mean, it writes itself. You don't even have to put a lot of thought into that. But I saw this and was just like, what in the world am I watching?
The guy is unreal.
And that poor batter.
I know.
Like, you don't even have just walk off the field. I mean, he did get a piece of something.
On the radar, Lindsey Nelson saying that was 104.
What was it? Changeup, I think he had.
Yeah, there's the 91 on the changeup.
Yeah.
And 102. See you later.
like I don't know what to make of this.
It's so weird because like I don't.
Has he
He's
been
not-
doing this all along and I've just missed it?
He's not a freshman.
No, I think he's a. I think I saw he was a redshirt junior.
Yeah. He's been around, but yeah, he's a redshirt junior. I didn't really know who he was either. And I'm looking to see.
All right, well, that's saying something because very few people I know watch as much college baseball as you do.
Okay, so that's why. He started at a community college, transferred to Tennessee, and had an off-season surgery, so he didn't pitch last year.
Okay.
So that's why I had never heard of him. Because once he started popping up on my timeline, I was like, hold on a second. 103 from a college guy that I've never heard of? What the hell is this?
Yeah, like, I would expect that if anyone's heard of a guy throwing 100 miles an hour in college, it's you. So I was a little shocked when you said you were like, huh? Who is this?
Yeah, I had no idea who he was until I started seeing the Pitching Ninja videos. And Tommy White continues to mash baseballs, by the way. I think he's up to 11 home runs on the year now. He just had 2 again the other day.
The season's been it's been 2 weeks into the season. He's got 11 home runs.
Yeah. The guy just can we get rid of the 3 years and done rule in college? Like I want one and dones in college. Baseball, that is. Like I want one and dones in baseball. Like
what is this camera's all screwed up again? Damn it.
This guy is clearly ready to handle professional pitching. Or same with Ben Joyce. Like Ben Joyce, I believe he'll be draft eligible this year because it is his 3rd year of college baseball. But like, if this guy was throwing 100, 101 at community college, and you're just like, yeah, sorry, can't draft him. He's got to pitch 2 more years and hope he doesn't blow his arm out. Like, just let these guys do 1 year at college, get drafted. If you can do it in the NBA, you can do it in baseball as well.
Yeah, especially because unlike the NBA, there's actually, you can send guys to the G League, but like there's actually a development system here.
Exactly.
So it's not like you're going to throw these guys to the fire right away.
Not all of them have to be John Olerud and never play a game in the minor leagues.
Although, really, let's be honest, some of these guys probably make more money in college than they would as a minor league player.
If Tommy White isn't making 6 figures already in endorsement deals, I don't know what the good folks around NC State are doing. Give that guy $1 million to represent your company.
Yeah, and like we get that college baseball isn't the draw that football or basketball is, but
it's growing.
When you have a freak like him, like you need to capitalize if you're a local business.
And it has been on the rise the past 5 years or so. Like those Vanderbilt teams really got people interested.
Oh, for sure.
And then ever since then, it's just been like when Coastal Carolina won, like all of a sudden people are talking about Coastal Carolina. I know people that went to Coastal Carolina just because they had heard they were good at a sport.
That's why I went to UMass.
Yeah. Like
I watched their basketball team one night when I was in high school and was just like, oh, that looks like fun.
That'll be a blast.
And then of course it helped when you go on the tour with your parents and the tour guide's like, welcome to ZooMass. And I was just like, oh yeah, I'm coming here while mom and dad are going, nope, we can leave. Okay. This wasn't expecting this, but I probably should have been. Andrew Miller announced his retirement today.
Saw that. Yep. Hell of a career.
My question is, did the Yankees end his career? I know he pitched for a number of years after the Yankees, and he had a great year with Cleveland in 2017. But like, I feel like the time he spent in the Bronx, that the Yankees just threw his arm into the ground.
Yeah, it's it wouldn't surprise me necessarily.
Joe Torre had a penchant for doing that.
Yeah.
That was obviously 20 years ago, but still, like Torre was notorious
Mm-hmm.
He would just throw you until your arm fell off, and then be like, "Okay, thanks, bye.
Yeah,
We
I
can
mean,
meet up in Little Italy at some point. Get dinner."
he actually didn't throw as many innings with the Yankees as I thought he did. Like 61 and 2/3. That's a
Yeah,
lot
see,
for a
I
lefty specialist reliever for the most part, but it's not as much as he threw the year prior with Boston and Baltimore.
yeah, no, you're right. I had it in my head that he had thrown way more.
Yeah, it seemed like he pitched every game.
Yeah, like as a Yankee fan, like it was pretty much every game. Okay, here comes Andrew Miller.
Yeah, it really did seem like he pitched every game, but it especially like I think during his time in New York, I think he pitched in every single game against the Red Sox.
Yeah,
Every game it was like, oh, here comes Andrew Miller again. Big Poppy's got nothing for him.
no, I mean, he clearly took his game to another level with the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Larry Rothschild figured something out with him
Mm-hmm.
where he became like a dominant relief pitcher. Yeah, he was very good before that, but I mean, two top 10 Cy Young Award finishes for a
Yeah.
guy who's not a closer is pretty much unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, only 63 career saves, which that also seems low.
Yeah, I mean, really, he had the 1 year with the
yeah.
Yankees in 2015 where he was the primary closer, and that was it.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, had the great year in Cleveland, or the great year and a half in Cleveland, which included the World Series run, and just sort of fell apart from there. Which age and the fact that he is a relief pitcher will do that. How often do we see relief pitchers actually, once they are great for a few years, remain that way for a long time? There have been very few.
Yeah, very few. We both agree, I would assume, that he's not a Hall of Fame.
No.
Does he last past the first ballot?
No.
Okay.
I think he falls off, and it's kind of a shame that he wasn't a reliever his whole career. Because those first few years as a starter, go back to it here, like PU.
Yeah, no.
Those are not good numbers. And I know it's only 5 years, but that's 360 innings for a guy that threw 829 in his career. That's a good chunk of his career right there.
Yeah, it is.
And I would have liked to see him convert to the bullpen full-time earlier than he did with Boston, because I remember when Boston got him, and I was like, oh man, this guy stinks. What the hell are the Red Sox doing? I mean, Andrew Miller, he's got a decent slider, but he's been awful. And then they put him in the bullpen, and it was like, oh, okay, I see what this is.
Yeah, I mean, people forget that. I mean, he was a big time prospect when he came up with Detroit, and then when he was traded to Florida.
In the
Miggy trade. Yeah, like he was a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But it really wasn't until he got to the bullpen in Boston that he started to actually be decent.
Yeah.
I mean,
I saw a tweet earlier where it was a Tigers fan. And they're like, I always wondered what would have happened if we held on to Andrew Miller. And someone goes, we wouldn't have gotten Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah, like you would have been a completely different team.
What kind of hypothetical is that? They were like, and then the person who originally said, oh, we didn't cut him. And the other guy was like, no, we traded him for Miguel Cabrera. I think we ended up okay.
Yeah, I think you guys won that deal. It's some people like just do a little bit of research before you tweet something.
You got a guy that won a Triple Crown and back-to-back MVPs.
You have a guy who's arguably the best hitter of his generation.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a generational talent, really.
He is. Yeah.
And not to go back to the whole thing, but you know who I should have included in my band? Speaking of generational talents, because this guy's not generational, even though everyone says he is. Bryce Harper. I think Bryce Harper as a vocalist would be interesting.
That would be interesting. He's got the energy.
Well, that's just it. Like, he's got the energy, and you don't know what he's going to say.
Also, it's hard for me to say a guy that's won 2 MVPs is not a generational talent.
Well, see, the problem for me is because I think Trout is a generational talent.
You can have more than one.
I have a hard time putting Harper with Trout.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, they're forever linked because
Mhm.
they came up together.
Which
But
really sucks for Bryce Harper because it makes people hate him so much.
oh yeah, no, I think that's where a lot of it comes from, is because people like they have to like Trout
Yeah.
because he's so boring. He doesn't say anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh well, he doesn't offend anyone. Like, he seems like a nice guy. You know, Trout seems like the guy that your wife would be very happy if your daughter brought him home for dinner.
Mhm.
Harper seems like the guy that your dad would meet at the front door with a shotgun.
Exactly. The tattoos, the long hair, the beard, probably pulls up on a Harley.
Yeah,
It's
shows up at the door. You open the door, and he's like, "What's up, bro?"
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like, "Hello, Mr. So and So."
I've always been a Harper apologist. Love him. Always been one of my favorite players since he came into the league. But I get why he gets hated, because the whole like that's a clown question, bro thing, and him getting into a fight with Jonathan Papelbon in the dugout.
I won't blame him for the Papelbon thing.
No, I won't.
I don't think Papelbon was very easy to get along with.
No,
if we're
bad
being
guy.
fair.
But with all that and the fact that he's just being compared to Mike Trout all the time, and he's still great in his own right, 2-time MVP, but he's not as good as Trout. And so people are like, yeah, this guy sucks. He had all the hype that Trout did, and he didn't live up to the hype that Trout had. Nobody lived up to the hype that he had.
Yeah, like he's as good as everyone said he was going to be.
Yeah.
Like you said, 2 MVP awards. I mean, he's a hell of a ball player. But again, for me, he's not Trout. And it's the wrong way to look at it. I know. I'm biased. Like, sorry, shoot me. It is what it is. It's like, today I saw the announcement from the new report in the New York Post that MLB Network's next documentary is going to be on Don Mattingly. And I just retweeted it and said, I already know this is the greatest documentary ever made.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm biased. I admit it. I'm not trying to be unbiased here. I don't care about your other documentaries. This is the only documentary that matters.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when you show me a clip with Mike Pagliarulo in it.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a guy that nobody ever talks about. Like, I guarantee you half of the people listening are just like, who the hell is that?
Yeah, who the hell is Pagliarulo?
Mike how? Like, if you saw his name, you wouldn't know how to pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wasn't very good.
No.
But for Yankees fans in the 80s, he was a god. We had Ricky Henderson, Don Mattingly, Dave Winfield, and Pags.
Yep.
That was it. With a little Dan Pasqua and Ron Kittle mixed in for good measure. Because George Steinbrenner was a psychopath. Huh?
A little extra spice.
Oh, well, no. The extra spice came when we signed Rafael Santana away from the Mets to be a shortstop. And he lasted like a year. And then it was Alvaro Espinoza.
Man, those 80s Yankees teams were kind of brutal, weren't they?
They were terrible. They were god awful. And that's why those teams are the reason I love baseball. Go figure. I should have hated baseball.
Yeah.
But I mean, I had a picture of my room growing up. It was Mattingly in between Ricky and Winfield in the dugout, and it was my favorite. I thought it was the greatest picture ever.
That does sound like a cool picture.
Yeah, I wish I could find it. I have no idea where it is. It was, those teams sucked. They were terrible. I think Dennis Rasmussen was their ace. And he sucked too.
All right, that's not in the dugout. I'm looking for this picture.
Ow.
I mean, I've got an awesome picture here, but it's not the same one.
Let's see if I could find it.
Right over here.
Where's?
Oh, well, that just made it so much smaller. And it's a New York Times. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, no. This was like a legitimate close-up of them in the dugout, just the three of them. like all sitting on the bench in the dugout. Like it must have been taken either by a reporter or someone with the team, or like I don't know where it came from. I don't remember how I got it. I might have bought it at a card show. Like I don't know. But anyway, you tweeted something that I thought was very interesting, and I agreed with wholeheartedly. That the sound coming off of Bobby Witt Jr.'s bat.
Oh yeah,
it's unbelievable.
Well, yeah, there's this one, which was from today. This is the most recent. Now that's a great crack of the bat, and that's why I said he needs to be on the opening day roster, because the rosters are 28 now for the first month, correct?
Oh yeah, no, he will be on the opening day roster.
The Royals do not have 28, let alone 15 players better right now than Bobby Witt Jr. Then there was another one. Here it is. This is the one that blew my mind.
Not miss his pitch. And he didn't miss.
Oh, the best part of that is the delay.
Yeah, that is like all I said is the sound. Like that is the type of sound reserved for Shohei Ohtani, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Mike Trout. Like those are the guys that get that sound. And add Bobby Witt to the list.
So I was on yesterday. It was a busy radio day for me. I was on Man-Child Show in my usual spot at 10:30. Then I was on in Missouri at 11:30 with Hall of Fame broadcaster, just tremendous human being, Ned Reynolds. And we were talking about the Royals, and we were talking about Bobby Witt. I was on with Ned and with Coach Bill Rowe, who was head coach of Missouri State baseball forever. And their AD for a while. They're both in like the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Just tremendous guys. And we were talking about Bobby Witt Jr., and they both said that if Bobby Witt Jr. isn't on the opening day roster, Royals fans will burn Kauffman Stadium to the ground. Like there's zero chance that this guy is not on the roster. But that led us into a deeper conversation about the Royals. And it got me thinking. And I know I'm throwing this at you with no advanced warning. I think not only are the Royals better than people give them credit for, especially if Bobby Witt Jr. is in the opening day lineup, as I expect he will be. I think they have a legitimate shot at competing for a wild card. And I think Zach Greinke being there has a lot to do with it. Yeah. My argument as to why, aside from Bobby Witt Jr., was I expect Andrew Benintendi to be better than he was last year.
And he was great down the stretch, too.
Oh, he was, once he was healthy.
The last 2 months of the season, yeah.
Yeah, like he looked like the Andrew Benintendi that we thought we were going to see in Boston. A full season of Mondesi, if he can stay healthy.
Which might come in 2032 for all we know. That guy.
The one thing that gives me pause is that they didn't go out and get a third baseman, because they're going to stick Witt at third base.
There he is.
if they would have gotten a third baseman and put Witt at short and let Mondesi be the full-time DH to keep this guy healthy, that would have made me a little bit more confident with it. But even so, knowing that Mondesi's going to wind up hurt at some point because he just can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
I think that Greinke's impact on that rotation, because he's got 4 starters that they've all shown flashes, right? Brad Keller, Brady Singer, Chris Bubik, and Carlos Hernandez. If they can pick Greinke's brain, and Greinke even talked about this yesterday after I was on. I saw an interview with him with another reporter, and he was saying, he's like, when I came up, the Royals didn't really have a guy for me to pick, whose brain to pick, and then Gil Mesh showed up. And Gil Mesh, like, he was my guy. And I would like to be that guy for these guys, if that's what they want. But between Greinke, and then they went out and get Amir Garrett, who I have said since they made the deal, I thought was a low-key genius move by Dayton Moore.
I agree.
He gave up a mediocre pitcher at best in Mike Minor. Like, that division doesn't scare me. after the White Sox, who's going to stop them?
Yeah. It is an easy division.
Like the
That's
Tigers are better, but they're still not
mhm.
there yet.
Which I think the Royals and Tigers are in a pretty similar spot.
Yeah,
And I would
mean,
lean towards the Tigers being a better team, which is the
I
only
would
reason I
too,
have pause.
especially because they went out and they got, Javi Baez.
Yeah.
And we saw some of their young guys start to progress a little bit more last year.
And it appears apparently Spencer Torkelson and Riley Green might be on the opening day roster, which if they are, makes them even scarier.
Well, yeah, okay. I was not counting on either one of those guys breaking camp, but
yeah, I've
if
heard
one or
more
both-
about Torkelson, but I guess both are still in consideration.
yeah, I mean, if one or both break camp with them, then yeah, that changes my outlook on the Royals a little bit. But still, like I think Cleveland's going to be dog shit.
Yeah, they're going to be awful. They've spent $900,000 in free agency.
Well, I saw there was a tweet going around the other day. I think it was 3 teams have payrolls of $35 million or less,
Mm-hmm.
and it was I think the Indians, the Pirates, and the Orioles.
Yes,
I'm sorry, the Guardians.
the Guardians.
My bad.
It's going to take some getting used to.
I'm never going to call them the Guardians. I'll just call them Cleveland.
Yeah.
Like it's like Washington for me. Like it's not what are they? The Commanders?
Yeah, they're the Commanders now.
Yeah, like, and I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm not like in love with the races, but that's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
Like you can't give me something for 40 years and then it'd be like them saying, okay, so for 45 years, this has been a phone. Now we're gonna call it a spoon. Like you can't just go and change the name on me after this long. It just doesn't. It doesn't work. I'm still gonna call this a phone. So like that's where I'm at with the name changes. I get why they're happening. It's for good reasons. Like if the people you name it after are offended, then change the goddamn thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like, don't expect me to be like, oh yeah, Guardians.
Yeah.
No, it's the freaking Indians. You've always been the Indians. There's movies about this. Our favorite baseball movie of all time
Yeah.
is based on the Indians.
Yeah.
Who's one of the greatest logos ever.
What is Major League without Randy Quaid being the psycho Indians fan, like in his friends beating the drum in full costume? Like it's
and let's be honest, is there really another city that would have worked in?
no.
Like no, like even Baltimore, like yeah, they've sucked for a long time, but not as long as the Indians did.
They have multiple World Series
Oh, yeah,
championships.
they have multiple World Series championships. At the time, they had 2 Hall of Famers on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
In Ripken and Murray. And a third really because Moose was probably just coming up around then.
Yeah.
Like it's unbelievable that I'm supposed to suddenly remember that it's not the Indians anymore. So sorry if I pissed anyone watching off, but it is what it is. If this makes you stop watching, then we probably didn't watch you anyway.
Back to the Royals.
You were talking about the Royals.
The thing I do like about the Royals is I do like their young pitching staff. I really like Brady Singer. I'm very high on him. There's the one guy I never remember that came up and struck out a million guys as soon as he came up. I can't think of his name. He had a high ERA, but his strikeout rate was through the roof. And I was like, this, and he's got the stuff. He just needs to get his command down.
Daniel Lynch.
Yes, Lynch. Thank you. Both of those guys, I think, could be studs. Singer more so because Singer is more mature right now than Lynch is. Like I said, Lynch still has to get that command down.
Mm-hmm.
And Singer has pretty good command. He just got hit a little too hard at times last season.
That's why I agree with you. So it's like I think that Greinke can kind of help these guys hone in a little.
Yes, and the Zach Greinke, as big of an acquisition for a 38-year-old or however old Zach Greinke is that throws 85 miles an hour can be, it's pretty big for Kansas City. It's especially the guys coming home, which I never expected to see him in a Royals jersey again.
No.
After some of the shit that happened the first time around in KC, I never expected to see that again. So good for him for like forgiving the organization somewhat, because I know he hated how they treated him when he was coming up.
Yeah, no, that did not go well.
Yeah. So good for him for forgiving Kansas City, and I do think that is going to be a big signing. Even if Greinke isn't nearly the pitcher he used to be, he's still, solid number of innings, 4 ERA guy, just going to be a good veteran arm in your rotation that's probably not going to get hurt because he doesn't throw hard enough to.
Yeah, but like you said, as long as he can give you some innings, and
Mm-hmm.
my argument was that his impact on the rest of the pitching staff is going to be greater than his impact on the field.
Mm-hmm.
He's still going to be very good. Yeah, but like you said, this isn't the Greinke that Kansas City remembers. This is a different guy. But there's some poetic justice to it, to his whole career coming full circle, which I think is kind of why we both thought that Pujols, going back to the Cardinals, we kind of talked about that months ago.
Yeah.
Like that just made a lot. Like it just made sense.
Yeah. And Greinke also took the picture of that weed guy. Did you see that?
No.
Oh,
took a picture of a weed guy?
This is very funny. All right. So we've got Zach Greinke makes his first start of the spring in less than an hour. A fan approached and asked for an autograph as Zach left the bullpen. Zach said he would, but only if he could take the fan's picture.
Oh, nice.
Here's the fan.
One, props on that guy for wearing that outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not advocating for or against anything, but you got to have some guts to rock that.
It's ballsy. It's ballsy for sure.
Wow. That's phenomenal.
So this is the picture that Zach Greinke took of this guy.
Wow.
It's like
that's nuts.
It's like I must paint you. Like as soon as he was like, I need a picture of you.
Oh, that's too much. There was what was the other thing I wanted to bring up? Oh, the Randall Grichuk trade. What are the Rockies doing, Mark?
I said it on this show weeks ago. I said it again in your replies on Twitter today. I still have no idea what they're doing. Randall Grichuk, really solid player. He's going to hit 40 home runs in Coors Field because he only hits the ball in the air. Mm-hmm. I saw do you follow Foolish Baseball?
I'm aware of them.
Yeah. They tweeted out and they said the fly ball man got traded for the ground ball man. Because we talk about in my friend group that I do another podcast with, Hot Stove, check it out. It's on YouTube at Hot Stove Pod, all that stuff. Yes, I call it our sister show. It's not officially our sister show, but that's what I call it.
But it's a very good show. You should listen to it.
And we talk about Raimel Tapia all the time because he's one of the most interesting players in. Let me see if I can get his Baseball Savant page up. It's wild.
The fact that they had to give up an extra piece to get Grichuk. Like Tapia for Grichuk alone, I think would have been an uneven swap. I think the Blue Jays win. But when you throw in another prospect on top of it, it's insane.
Look at this. All right, I'll zoom in here so we can see this a little better. All right. So average exit velocity, 5th percentile, 95% of the league is better than him. K percentage, 96th percentile. So he always hits the ball and never hits it hard.
Yeah.
He doesn't swing and miss, but he also doesn't walk. But he still doesn't hit the ball hard. And he's fast, but he doesn't get a good jump in the outfield, and he isn't a great defender. What is this guy?
He's someone in desperate need of a change of scenery. I don't know where he plays in Toronto. I mean, he's clearly a part-time player.
Mm-hmm.
You're not starting him over Springer. You're not starting him over Hernandez, and you're certainly not starting him over Gurriel. But he's going to be a lot of fun to watch in Toronto. I mean, as a Yankee fan, I'm happy that Grichuk's gone because he had become like the second coming of Big Papi. He was just a Yankee killer.
Killed the Yankees.
So,
yeah.
like, God, good, get out of here, guy. Go, go off to mediocrity in Colorado. I mean, the only thing I can think of from Colorado's standpoint is that now this opens up regular playing time for Connor Joe. Like,
I guess.
I don't know.
And then, by the way, Randall Grichuk, just the opposite player as
The complete
Ryan
opposite.
Maltavia. Everything is the opposite. He swings and misses more. He hits the ball so hard, but his XWOBA is basically negative. Bad outfield. He's the complete opposite player. And it's so funny because Grichuk will thrive in Colorado. That's like the dream ballpark for him. I don't know if I have been a big Ryan Maltavia fan for years. When he was coming up, I was like, cool. He's going to hit 330. He's going to be so much fun to watch. He's going to hit 50 doubles a year.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. Because he doesn't hit the ball in the air at all.
And when he does, they're weak, like bloops.
They're pop-ups.
Yeah.
It's a pop-up or a weak ground ball. I don't understand how this guy made it this far.
Yeah, I don't get it. And the craziest thing maybe of all this is that for a team in Colorado that's literally, I mean, no one, not even, there's not enough weed in Colorado to believe that the Rockies can actually contend for a playoff spot. But Tapia makes less money than Grichuk. It was cheaper to keep the guy you had. Because not only did you have to take on more salary, but like I said, you had to give up a prospect on top of it.
I have never understood a Rockies offseason. It continues. Between Chris Bryant and trading for Randall Grichuk, what are you doing all this to win 75 games? You want to finish ahead of the Diamondbacks? Congratulations. You're probably going to do that anyway.
I don't think they will.
That's true. They have Kettle Marte. That guy's tremendous.
The Diamondbacks have some players.
Yeah.
They have some pitching. Like, the Diamondbacks aren't winning the division, but the Diamondbacks aren't finishing in last place.
I really don't understand what this is about.
It doesn't make any sense.
It never has and never will. The people in Colorado have no idea what you're supposed to do in a baseball offseason. So they're like, okay, what if we pay a third baseman and then trade him because he hates it here? And then we're going to get an all-star shortstop. We're going to offer him more money to play the position he wants to play, but instead he's going to sign somewhere else. But we're also going to bring in another third baseman that we're going to pay a lot of money, and he's probably also going to hate it here just so we can ship him off later. And we'll bring in a guy that's going to hit 40 home runs, but no one will care.
No one. Literally no one.
It's the most, like, they're just striving for mediocrity. That's what the Rockies are doing. All they want to do is be mediocre.
Yeah, literally, there's not one. Aside from Chris Bryant, I don't think there's an above average player on the roster.
Yeah, and Grichuk is number 2. It's like Bryant, Grichuk, and then Brendan Rodgers could be.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to Charlie Blackmon. I mean, he was great, but Charlie Blackmon's 36.
Yeah, he's not what he used to. And they also paid Ryan McMahon. They gave Ryan McMahon a 6-year, $70 million extension.
Oh, yeah, Ryan McMahon. He of the 255 average. No, that's their projections. My bad.
And he had a good year last year. I remember at the start of the year, he was red hot because I remember I picked him up in fantasy baseball for a couple weeks because he couldn't stop hitting home runs.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He hit 254 last year. I said 255. I gave him a little too much credit.
The projections are bullish. That's all I'm going to say. They're very high on Ryan McMahon. Going to raise his average a whole point.
Everything a point. His WRC plus 95 last year. Projection this year 96.
Oh yeah, that's the good stuff.
I mean,
only
totally
4% below league average.
Completely worth average. The $70 million that you just gave this guy, the Rocky. I mean, this lineup. Tell me who is scared of this, or tell me when you get scared.
Okay.
Charlie Blackmon,
Not anymore.
Chris Bryant,
Yeah.
Ryan McMahon,
Eh.
CJ Cron,
Maybe.
Brendan
I'll say maybe for
Rodgers,
him. No.
Randall Gritchick,
Eh.
Sam Hilliard, Jose Iglesias,
He's on
and
the
Elias.
Rockies now?
He's with the Rockies now. Apparently, he signed recently. It says free agent March 22. And Elias Diaz.
Oh, yeah, that guy really worked out well for the Pirates.
I was high on Elias Diaz when he came up with the Pirates, and then they ruined him. So
yeah.
And again, their pitching staff, it's Herman Marquez and nobody.
Yeah, and Marquez is good, but he also pitches in Colorado. So how good can he really be?
No, I mean he has had some good outings in Colorado. I'll give him that because he's just that good.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Marquez was on an actual team in an actual
he'd
market,
be a stud.
He'd be a superstar. People wouldn't be able to stop talking about him. But I mean, Kyle Freeland, Senzatella, Austin Gomber, Chad Kuhl. No thanks. There's nothing cool about Chad Kuhl except for the fact that he's a major league player.
Yeah.
Like this team is going to be horrifically bad.
Yeah. And it kind of sucks because it was 4 years ago they were a wild card team.
Mm-hmm.
And they had that great wild card game against Arizona, and just two teams that absolutely fell off a cliff that were expected to contend for a few years to come. And Kyle Freeland, that was the year he was great. And talk about falling off a cliff. He can't throw a baseball anymore.
No, I mean, and to be fair, I mean, he did get hurt, and that certainly had something to do with it. But I mean, just think about it. 2 years ago, they had Nolan Arenado and Trevor Story. Now they have
good building blocks.
Now they have Charlie Blackmon and Randall Gritchick. I mean, they're Chris Bryant and Randall Gritchick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a good trade.
No.
As much as I like Chris Bryant, like it's not a good deal. Yeah, the whole that McMahon extension on top of it all. It was just like, oh, what is wrong with you people? I don't understand.
Their owner's the one that was like backing up Manfred in the negotiations too, right?
Yeah, like if he wasn't unlikable enough.
Yeah.
He's part of the MLB's brain trust for the lockout. Like this guy's not smart. Or he's not that smart because you can't put together a winning team.
Like if you're a Rockies fan, do you say at least they're not the Pirates? At least they're not the A's who signed their first free agent last night and it was Stephen Vogt? Like, do you sit there and say at least they're spending money, or are you just like, all we are is a mediocre franchise who had playoff success once, and that was 15 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, you're so screwed in that division because it's so top heavy. Yeah, you've got three behemoths at the top, and then everybody else. Like, you're not contending. So, like, at that point, why not just go the route of the Guardians and the Orioles and the Pirates, and don't spend $70 million on on Ryan McMahon or
below average player.
Yeah, a guy who for years people were like, "Wait, is that Ryan McMahon or is that Brendan Rodgers?" Because they're the same person.
Yeah.
Like, essentially, they're the same guy.
One's left-handed. That's the only difference.
Yeah, but I mean, it was going for years. It was like, all right, who's going to be better? Is it going to be Rodgers or McMahon? That's the next big guy. And, like, neither one of them is.
No.
They're just, they're there. Like, you don't hate them if they're on your team, but you don't really miss them when they're gone. Like, and the Reds are another one that I don't understand. We're going to trade everybody and then go sign Tommy Pham.
Buddy of mine is a big Reds fan, and they tweeted out they won yesterday in their spring training game. I'll see if I can get the tweet. And so shout out to my buddy Josh, who also a member of the Hot Stove. Big Reds fan, and I just said, don't get used to it. I mean, they I don't know what they're doing either.
I don't know.
They were so close The Reds were so close to being a good team.
Yes, they were.
It's like the Marlins a few years ago when the Marlins were 2 starting pitchers away from contending for the NL East. And, Jose Fernandez tragically died. I get that. But then they just traded Giancarlo Stanton and Christian Yelich and Marcelo Zuna. And it was just like, yeah, we were 2 starting pitchers away. But instead, we're going to be 25 baseball players away from competing for the NL East.
We're going to take what's already the best outfield in baseball. That's only going to get better because all these guys are like in their early 20s.
They're all like 25, yeah.
Yeah, and we're just going to blow the whole thing up and start over. And now, to be fair, the Marlins have a hell of a pitching staff now.
Yes, they do.
That
now.
rotation is disgusting. But that team's not. Jazz Chisholm, I like Jazz a lot. But
very cool.
That team's not good. The Reds are not good.
Yeah.
There are a lot of not good teams.
There's a lot of not good teams.
And it seems like a lot of them are in the National League.
The thing is, there's a lot of really good teams and a lot of crap. I feel like we don't have a ton of mediocrity.
No, I think there's more mediocrity in the AL than there is in the NL. I think the NL is definitely you're at the top or you're just useless and like nobody cares. In the AL, like I think the whole AL Central really and the AL West and really with Houston, I don't know that I can say Houston's a sure thing.
Yeah, they're weird. What are you going to get out of Verlander? I expect him to be good because he's Justin Verlander and he's always been good outside of those couple years he was hurt in Detroit. But, I expect him to be, he might not go out and pitch to a 2.4 ERA with 300 strikeouts like he did the last time we saw him.
Yeah, but I don't know what to make of them. Can you count on Verlander? He's 39. He hasn't pitched in 2 years.
But can you also count out Verlander?
No, I wouldn't bet against him, but I wouldn't bet on him either.
Yeah,
because like you said, you don't know what he is at this point.
Yeah, and Bregman, great piece. Altuve, obviously. Kyle Tucker is a stud. What are you going to get out of Michael Brantley? He's getting up there. We know the bat speed isn't what it used to be. And sure, he can still put the bat on the ball, but when are these bloop singles going to turn into pop-outs?
Right. I mean,
because he can't catch up to it.
The hitting's there, but the pitching is just such a question mark.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because like you said, Bregman's a stud. Altuve is Altuve. Jordan is Jordan. I mean, he's so much fun to watch when he's playing.
Yeah, I didn't even mention Jordan or Yuli Gurriel.
Yuli, but Yuli, everyone's like, oh, Yuli. He's 38.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's not a young guy that came up. Like he was played in Cuba for a decade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was 32, 33 when he came over?
He signed in 2016, so that was
6 years ago.
So yeah, 32, 33.
Yeah.
Chas McCormick, love the name.
Great name.
I don't know that he's an everyday, that I want him in center field every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like the bottom half of that lineup is sketchy. And we've never seen these guys without Correa. Like that's going to be interesting is to see like how much do they miss him.
They're instantly more likable.
Yeah, and the Twins are instantly more unlikable.
Yeah.
And like the Twins have always been a team that I've been like, Like
he's gonna love his 1 year in Minnesota. There's no way he lives out the 3 years of that contract.
Oh no. I think everyone went into that knowing this is a 1 year deal.
Yeah.
Boris basically said it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was like, we looked for the place that he had the best numbers, and he has like, let me pull it up. It was really like ridiculous numbers. He had something like a 470 average with like a 1.7 OPS or something. It was insane. Where is it? Here we go.
Get it up here to show on the screen.
Okay, so Boris based all this on a 70 plate appearance sample size. He hit 413 with a 1.205 OPS, 12 extra base hits in 15 games.
Yep.
Like, that's pretty damn good. Like, if you want to rebuild your value in 1 year, yeah, I mean, Minnesota's the place to do it. But I wonder if they realize that, that was against the Twins pitching,
Mm-hmm.
not against everyone else's pitching.
Yeah.
So
And
just because you were able to, smack around. Oh, yes, they had Berrios at one point. And, like the pitching's not terrible, but I don't know. I don't know what to make of the Twins. I mean, I don't think they're going to be a threat to anyone, but
yeah, they haven't had good pitching since Johan. Like,
no, to be fair, Berrios was good.
yeah, Barrios was good, but I just mean in terms of like overall good pitching. Like,
Oh, yeah, when they had Johan and Liriano his first
Yeah.
year, like that was it.
yeah.
And then
And-
Liriano got hurt and they, Johan got moved.
And yeah, I love Jose Barrios. He's one of those guys I'm waiting for him to have the 1 year where everything just clicks.
It might be
And
this year.
It could be this year, but I've been waiting on it for 5 years now.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Twins are another one where it's just years of mediocrity.
Yeah, and going out and getting Correa, great. I mean, he's going to
Mhm.
bring people in if nothing else. But like Gary Sanchez and Gio Urshela don't move the needle. I'm sorry, they don't.
Yeah,
Like somebody who watched Gary Sanchez's entire career, he sucks.
bad.
He's not good. He's not a good dude. Like
Mhm.
he's just bad.
Yeah,
Like the Twins, I don't get it. And they're going to ruin Buxton.
yeah,
Byron Buxton's easily one of the most likable people and one of the guys you want to root for because he keeps getting hurt. But you know what he can be if he can stay healthy.
yeah. When he's healthy, he's just an incredible all-around talent.
He was Mike Trout.
Yes,
Like he was Mike Trout.
except faster and a better defender.
Yeah, exactly. He was Mike Trout with better stuff.
Yeah,
And a personality. Byron Buxton is Mike Trout if Mike Trout had a personality.
Mhm.
And like they're just gonna ruin this guy.
Yeah, it really
It's-
does suck, man.
Yeah, I mean, in the next couple weeks, I'm sure we're gonna break down, stuff and go kind of do a brief overview of
Mhm.
each team in more depth. But like the Twins, the Rockies, the Orioles, like there's some really shitty teams out there.
Yeah,
And I think that there are fans that are getting fooled because
Mhm.
they see like one or two big names and they're like, ooh, shiny new toy.
Yep.
But when you play with it for 5 seconds and the shine wears off, you're like, oh, wow, this is the same piece of crap I've had for 10 years. Like it's just, it's too bad.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to hit on? I'm sure there's something that I'm forgetting.
Is there a big move we're missing from the past couple weeks?
I think story. Yeah, that was my fault last week. Wasn't St. Patrick's Day. It was because an evil leprechaun who's 3 years old beat my ass again.
Oh, okay. You said you were like I'm shot or something like that. I assumed you just had a good St. Patrick's Day.
I had a great St. Patrick's Day. Unfortunately, it ended with my 3-year-old nephew beating the shit out of me. For 5 minutes, he was like, oh, a jungle gym. And I'm like, no, I'm your uncle. And he said, I don't care. And then his brother came in, who's 5, and was like, hey, did I show you all the Power Rangers moves I've learned?
Oh, God.
And I'm like, huh? And then I was on the floor. So, yeah, that's why we had no show last week. It got to the point where I didn't realize I didn't have my cell phone until Mark sent me a message on Twitter and was like, what are we doing?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I don't have my phone. I forgot about everything. I'm shot. Sorry.
Yeah, there are a couple deals that we didn't talk about.
Oh,
Nicholas Castellanos is a Philly. So is Kyle Schwarber.
oh, that's right. This all happened last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Phillies.
Mm-hmm.
Does this put them in the conversation with the Mets and the Braves?
Lineup wise, yes. because this team might hit 400 home runs. This is just a bomb squad of a lineup. And the thing that worries me is the pitching. Aaron Nola is great. I'm one of the world's biggest Aaron Nola fans. I think he's awesome. After that,
Well, I mean, Zach Wheeler's really good too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Wheeler as well, of course. But yeah, between Wheeler and Nola, love the 1-2. But I don't know if the pitching is going to be able to keep up. I really don't. There's so many great hitters in that division. The top to bottom, it's all great line. Like even the Marlins are going to hit. Avisail Garcia is going to hit. Jesus Aguilar is going to hit. Like
Jazz Chisholm's
going to hit. That entire division is just stacked with really good hitters. And that's what puts teams like the Mets and the Braves apart, is because they have the pitching to keep up with that. But I think the Phillies are going to be good. I've been saying this for 4 years, so we'll see if I'm finally right. But I think the Phillies are going to be good, but man, without better pitching, it's hard for me to imagine them really competing for the division. Wild card, I think for sure they'll compete for a wild card, but the division between those two top teams, it's gonna be tough.
It is, and I know we're talking about the Phillies, but it just got me thinking about Washington. They might be the last place team in that division.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy to say because they went out, they got Nelson Cruz, like they have Juan Soto. They've got some decent guys on that team.
Strasburg, Corbin, if they're both healthy, is still a good one too.
Yeah, but isn't Strasburg still recovering from thoracic outlet surgery?
Yeah, I don't know what his timetable is.
Yeah. And Corbin, and I know this is, look, the numbers say that Corbin's a good pitcher. I just don't think he is. I just, every time I watch Patrick Corbin, I'm just like, I'm not impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he doesn't do anything to wow me.
Yeah.
Strasburg wows me.
Yeah.
Josiah Gray has the stuff that I think can wow people.
Mm-hmm.
I think he has a chance to be really, really good. Like Paolo Espino, he doesn't do anything great, but he is a ground ball pitcher. If he can keep the ball on the ground, he will give the Nationals a chance to win. Corbin, like, you never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
Like, he goes 2 weeks where he's unhittable, and then he goes 2 weeks where he looks like absolute trash.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that might be the most interesting division.
Oh, absolutely.
Outside of the AL East, because I think you could legitimately make an argument that all 5 teams have a shot at making the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree. I think the NL East is going to be so much fun to watch this year. And this is like, being in New York, a lot of the baseball I consume is Yankees and Mets games just because they're always on Yes and SNY. If there isn't a game on MLB or ESPN, I'm watching a Mets or a Yankees game. I'm probably going to watch more Mets games than I do Yankees games this year just because I want to see A, that team, and B, the National League East as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, I'm a Yankee fan, and I will probably do the same.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I have very low expectations for the Yankees this year. Even though I know that they're on paper awesome, it's Aaron Boone. I can't watch Aaron Boone.
Yeah.
And plus, it'll give me a break from listening to Michael Kay because Michael Kay gets on me after a while.
Yeah, about 3 pitches, and I'm done.
Oh no, I'm about 3 bars in the into the theme song for Yankees games, and I'm done. Lots of respect for Michael Kay, but not my thing.
Nope.
I'll take John and Susan every day.
I will not watch a single one of those alternate Sunday night baseball broadcasts with Michael Kay and A-Rod.
No. I won't watch A-Rod. I don't care what it is. A-Rod's cooking show, A-Rod's poker tips, A-Rod, A-Rod teaches you how to make out with yourself in a wall-sized mirror. Like, I won't watch any of it. I have no interest. I think A-Rod is the most not even what's the word? Disingenuous human being on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's so full of shit. I think not everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie.
Yeah.
You know, did you take steroids? Yeah. I
Little
did
bit.
it,
Little
but
bit.
only twice.
Only
That's
twice.
like, I if you told me that A-Rod was using the cream or taking steroids when he was in 6th grade, I'd believe you.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think he's a fraud. Everything about him's a fraud. I can't wait to see what the dumpster fire that occurs with the Minnesota Timberwolves when he finally takes control of that team. What does he know about basketball? He was a baseball player who cheated. Like,
yeah. One of my favorite things ever was when Anthony Edwards was asked, they were like, what are your thoughts on Alex Rodriguez taking over as the owner of the Timberwolves? And he was like, who?
Yep.
Never heard of him.
Yep, not a clue.
That
Not
was
a
the
clue.
day I became an Anthony Edwards fan.
Yeah, like that must have been such like A-Rod was probably like, oh yeah, watch this. So one of our superstars is gonna kiss my ass.
Mm-hmm.
And they just like never heard of the guy. Who is
I
it?
watch baseball. I don't know who he is.
It's like Tyreek, throwing his shade at the Jets today. Did you see this?
Oh, no, I didn't. He was throwing shade.
Oh yeah, somebody asked him like, how close were you to accepting a trade to the Jets? And he was like, who? And he was like, my heart. He's like, no matter what Miami offered, I was going to Miami.
Wow.
He's
Yeah,
like, this is my second home. He's like, I'm here all the time. He's like, I love Miami. And I was just like,
funny.
yeah. I heard that, and I was just like, oh, I'm like, Paul must be so angry right now.
It was an interesting show today.
I'm sure I missed you yesterday. I know that you purposely took off because I was on. But that's fine because look, I can't take more than one day of you a week either. And that's fine. Can you imagine if A-Rod and J-Lo would have gotten the Mets?
Oh no. Just the absolute shit show that was the Mets off season already before all the good things happened. But when it was like, we don't know who the GM is going to be. We don't know who the manager is going to be. We've asked 48 people. All of them said no. If that was the Mets still wouldn't have a GM if A-Rod owned the Mets.
No. And I mean, the one question that I would have had, I would have loved to have seen if this happened. Would every player have been forced to come out to a J-Lo song?
Can you imagine Pete Alonso coming out to Jenny Jenny from the Block?
I mean, ironically, I would have been like, all right, Robbie Cano, you have to come out to I'm Real to do what she did with Ja Rule. Yeah, because nothing about you is real. You're A-Rod.
You are A-Rod.
You are A-Rod Robinson Cano.
Yeah, Robbie Cano would have loved it. Oh man, he would have been
Robbie Cano doesn't care. As long as he's getting paid, he doesn't care. It's clear he doesn't care. He's gotten caught, twice now? I mean,
yeah.
He's stupid. All right. Well, yes. So back to the Phillies. Yeah. This is 2 or 3 times on this show that I've completely gotten us off track to the point where we're not. At least I stayed in the right division this time.
That's true.
But yeah, the Phillies, they're gonna be. I think the Phillies play spoiler more than they play real threat.
Yeah, I could see that.
But the top half of that lineup, God, Schwarber, Castellanos, Harper, Real Muto, Hoskins, and they keep going. Segura, Didi. Even Alec Bohm isn't bad.
Alec Bohm's good. I really like Alec Bohm.
I can't say anything about Matt. I don't know enough about Matt Vierling to have an opinion, but
now, and at some point, hopefully, maybe Mickey Moniak turns into something like there's
right. They still have Moniak. Wow.
Yeah, they still have the former #1 overall pick who used to follow me on Twitter. And Mickey, if you're listening, follow me on Twitter again.
Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah, Mark's a good guy. No, completely disregard what I say about Mark. Mark's a good follow. Good guy, better follow.
And there's one thing I just saw that happened on St. Patrick's Day that we didn't get to talk about. The Freddie Freeman extension.
Ah, yes, the Freddie Freeman extension. You know, I think I blocked that out of my mind because it just Freddie not in Atlanta just doesn't seem right to me.
Yeah. It's
They're gonna run away with that division, right?
I feel like they have to. And Passon tweeted, he was like, I've been covering baseball for 20 years. This is the best lineup I've ever seen.
Yeah, especially with Tatis being out for 3 months. Like,
Yeah.
I know the Giants are still the Giants, but
the Giants aren't going to be what they were last year. The Giants played over their head last year.
Oh, for
And
sure.
The Giants are still going to be a good team, but 107 wins good? No. The Dodgers are going to, should be 107 wins good. But Giants, 90 wins, I think is a fair estimate for San Francisco this year. Come back down to earth a little bit. You've still got a stud in Logan Webb, and Carlos Rodon, we both agree could be the steal of the offseason, but there's a lot of problems with that team as well. The offense really isn't that great when you break it down top to bottom.
No, especially without Buster Posey and without Chris Bryant. But yeah, I mean, Passan's not wrong. This lineup is disgusting.
There are 4 MVPs on that roster now.
Yeah. Mookie, Freddie, Trey Turner, Max Muncy, Justin Turner, Will Smith, Chris Taylor, Bellinger. Can you imagine what happens if Bellinger reverts to his previous form? I mean, and then AJ Pollock.
Yeah, and AJ Pollock, who just very casually hit like 280 with 25 home runs last year, and not a single person cared that AJ Pollock was back to being a very good baseball player.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then, like, God, even maybe if you wanted to make an argument, the back end of the rotation's kind of weak.
Yeah.
But even
you still got Kershaw, you still got Bueller, you still got Urias.
Yeah, and Andrew Heaney and Tyler Anderson. They're not great. They're not terrible.
Heaney's terrible. I think that guy sucks.
Well, Heaney was terrible with the Yankees.
I never thought he was good. I never got it with him.
I think Heaney has a little something, but he's 30. I mean, he's not going to be the star pitcher that people thought he was going to be when he was with the Marlins.
You'll still get 15 randomly great starts out of like Tony Gonsolin.
Yeah, see, and Dustin May. I mean, you don't know what you're getting with him because he's coming off a Tommy John surgery. But yeah, they have Danny Duffy, who they went out and signed. Like Jimmy Nelson's still a thing.
He could also be something. Like,
Danny Duffy's a good pitcher.
It's just, outside of the lineup, they're just so deep at every single, we didn't even mention Gavin Lux, former top 5 prospect Gavin Lux, who's still 24 years old.
Is he even, okay, they do have him projected to make the opening day roster. And Edwin Rios, who, if you play fantasy baseball, anyone listening, or daily fantasy, when the Dodgers are playing a right-handed pitcher, you want Edwin Rios in your lineup.
Yep.
The guy is Babe Ruth against righties. It's insane what he does to righties. He's not a good baseball player.
No.
But he's absolutely insane. Oh, and they have David Price.
Yeah, we didn't even mention former Cy Young winner David Price.
At this point, a mediocre long reliever.
Still David Price.
You could still have him start a game.
Yeah.
Okay, he's 36. He's 36.
Yeah,
God,
David
I feel old.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking at their bullpen, and there are names on here that it's just like, holy crap, this guy's still a thing.
You got. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I'm just looking at Phil Bickford is a name that stands out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Phil Bickford, most people haven't heard of. Phil Bickford at one point was a ballyhooed starting pitching prospect.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he was going to be pretty good, and then he got hurt. I think he was with Toronto and then Cincinnati and wound up.
Yes.
And then Milwaukee, I think, and then he wound up with the Dodgers. But they have so much, the amount of talent, just pure stuff. Not
Just
that these guys are good, but just pure stuff and natural talent. It's disgusting.
The back end of the bullpen between Brewster Gratterall and Blake Trinan, both just coming out throwing 101-mile-an-hour sinkers that you can't even imagine hitting. And Brewster Gratterall, he was like, "Oh yeah, I throw a cutter now too." He just like said that a week ago. He's like, "Yeah, I got a cutter too."
He
It's
added a
pretty
cutter?
sick. Yeah.
Oh boy.
It-
Wow.
If it's anything short of Emmanuel Clase on Cleveland, where it's 102 miles an hour and moves a foot and a half,
They legitimately don't need more than like 4 innings out of their starters.
nope.
It's wild. I mean, holy crap.
I've never seen a team constructed like the Dodgers. Never.
It's
Top to bottom, both in the lineup and the pitching staff, it is the most complete team I've ever seen.
Well, people wanted to know what Andrew Friedman could do if you gave him money. Well, here you go.
Everything. He
Yeah.
can do everything.
He can do it all. You give the guy a checkbook and he can put together a dream team, even if it's guys that, I mean, but even Hanser Alberto as a utility guy. He'd start for at least a third of the teams in the majors.
Mm-hmm.
God,
They're
damn it,
gross.
Tatis for getting hurt, because that would have been those two teams beating the crap out of each other all season would have been great.
Which, I mean, we all thought we were going to see that last year, and then the Padres just absolutely shit the bed in the second half of the season.
Well, they shit the bed, and also Tatis got hurt.
Yeah, he got hurt, but everyone else decided to suck at the exact same time, too.
Yeah, and then Manny started to wake up, and everyone else was like, nope, not having it. But yeah, I mean, the Padres, they have such a good team, too.
Oh, yeah.
And
Dinelson Lamet should be healthy this year, hopefully.
Yeah, I will say this. If the Padres rotation can stay healthy, I think they have a chance to be as good, if not better, than the Dodgers rotation.
Yeah.
Because you look at the names. I mean, Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish, Blake Snell, Mike Clevenger. Like, people forget that Mike Clevenger
Clevenger's
is a thing. Like, did we forget that this guy was an absolute stud in Cleveland before he got hurt? I mean, Nick Martinez, I don't buy into Nick Martinez.
No.
I am not a Nick Martinez fan. I am not a believer. But like you said, you got Dinelson LeMay. You have
Chris Paddock.
Adrian Morajan. I don't think he's out all year. I think he's coming back. Yeah, Chris Paddock. Chris Paddock was talked about as, hey, he'd be a great number 3 starter for the Yankees or the Mets, 2 or 3 years ago. And now it's I don't even know if he's in the rotation.
Yeah.
God, this goes back to the point you made earlier, which is there's a lot of haves and a lot of have-nots in the National League. And this is why, because the teams that would be mediocre are going to be terrible because they have to go up against things like this.
Yep.
And what they have in LA and what they have in Atlanta and what they've got in Flushing, and what they have in Philly.
But thank God Chris Bryant is going to run into Tony Gonsolin once at Coors Field.
That is definitely going to happen. That is most definitely going to happen. And the craziest thing about all this is that the Cardinals are still going to win 90 games and they're still going to make their way into the playoffs. And they have done nothing.
Not a thing.
Of note. Literally nothing except lose people to injuries. Anthony Reyes, guess what? He's hurt again.
Is he really? I didn't even see that.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, Reyes is what did he do?
God,
he's not starting the season. Yeah, him and Jack Flaherty. Neither one of them starting the season. Flaherty's got shoulder issues. They both have shoulder issues.
Yeah, but Wainwright's going to go 14-8 with a 3.4 ERA. And
Wainwright's distracted. He's got a country album that he has to record. Adam Wainwright doesn't care. He's focused on his post-playing career, where he becomes the next Garth Brooks.
He's got a foot out the door already, that Wainwright.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They did make a move. They made a couple of moves, but the big one was signing Steven Matz.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I like Steven Matz.
It's not a good move. Steven Matz is not a good pitcher.
I've always been on the Mats train. I've always thought he was
I've been
pretty.
a big Matz homer. I mean, he's from Long Island,
Yeah.
but he was terrible with the Mets.
Yeah, he had a good year last year in Toronto.
Yeah, he wasn't. I'll give him credit. He wasn't terrible,
Yeah.
but I mean, I would say that the Cardinals have taken their best reliever, Dakota Hudson, and they're going to destroy him by making him a starter.
I hate when teams do that. It never works. How often does it work where it's like, yeah, we're going to take this guy who's our full-time reliever, full-time closer, whatever, and we're just going to throw him in the rotation. Remember the Reds tried it with Aroldis Chapman? That worked out real well.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like the Rangers ruined both Neftali Feliz and Alexi Ogando by doing that.
Oh, Alexi Ogando was so good. Ogando was great, and they destroyed him. But yeah, and Corey Dickerson. That was the Cardinals' big addition. But
Love
again,
Corey Dickerson.
but they're
Biggest
still
Corey
going to
Dickerson fan on the
win
planet.
a lot of games. They're
Yeah.
still going to be right in the thick of a playoff race.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't be.
Yeah, and the thing is, so are the Brewers. I don't think the Brewers should be either. I don't think that lineup's good.
No, I mean, especially if Yelich's back is going to bark again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fear that Yelich is going to wind up like Mattingly.
Yeah.
Where his back just betrays him. And we've seen him at his best where he was the face of, one of the faces of baseball. And now it's just like,
It's a shame too, because we didn't get the long, like Mattingly, of course, his career was cut short, but there was longevity there. It was like
there was
8-9 years.
Yeah. With Yelich, it was very quick.
It was 3. And, going back to the Marlins when he was obviously still very good. He wasn't MVP, but he was still hitting 300. And
I mean, you could see that the talent was there.
You could see the talent was there, and then all of a sudden it's just back, and I hate it because Christian Yelich is one of those guys that's so much fun to watch when he's healthy. He's one of those that, like, I had for a while. You can get like an extension on Chrome that like lets you know when certain guys are up to bat.
Oh yeah,
and I don't remember what it's called. I haven't had it in a while, but I used to have it, and I had like a list of guys. It was like Trout, Harper, Andrew Benintendi, because of course, Mookie Betts, Christian Yelich, and like that was the list. And I would just make sure to tune in every time he came up to the plate because he was must-watch television.
He was unbelievable, but the back, like that, back injuries are sketchy.
Mm-hmm.
It's why JD is no longer as fearsome as he once was.
He's still good, at least.
JD Martinez is still great. Don't get me wrong, but you don't hear JD Martinez as like, oh yeah, he's an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
Because his back is going to completely mess with him at some point.
He very quickly went from one of the most feared right-handed hitters in baseball to, if we pitch him outside, he probably won't take us out the other way anymore.
Yeah, I mean, because a back injury, it forces you to change your swing.
Yeah.
And these guys, once they change their swing, they're not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter Renfroe is not an upgrade over Abisail Garcia.
It's a very lateral move, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I love McCutchen, but what is he at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Like their best players are getting up there, and I mean the pitching staff is still sick, but
it will be very fun to see Kutch and Lorenzo Cain on the same team.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
That those two are gonna have a fucking blast because they're both such likable guys and. Both have so much fun. I am looking forward to that. And like you said, the pitching staff is still.
I mean, Burns, Woodruff, Peralta, Adrian Hauser. It doesn't matter who the fifth starter is.
And then Hader and Devin Williams at the back end of the bullpen.
and Devin Williams, stop punching shit. Like, have you not learned from every other super talented, high-strung pitcher? Punching things doesn't end well for you.
I gotta get there was a pitching ninja Den Williams video recently. I gotta get that back up. Oh, dude, this isn't even the one I wanted. This is just as good.
Which one's this? You're not supposed to be able to do that.
How do guys make balls move like that?
Oh God, did he do that to Luis Robert? Is that who he did
Yes,
that?
that's Luis.
That's not right. You can't do that to Luis.
I didn't even notice that.
Oh,
Made one of the best young players in baseball look like a moron.
Oh, Robert.
Okay, half of these videos are Brewers pitcher. Look at this.
Yeah, like he's making these guys look like they've never swung a bat before.
Josh Hader, there we go. Just, oh, gross. Oh, more Ben Joyce.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Joyce. I would take Ben Joyce over everybody. Just
Tony
because.
Gonsolin, there he is.
Yeah, I mean, we've said this pretty much every episode, but we'll say it again. If you're not following Pitching Ninja, also known as Rob Friedman, you're a moron.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking. There was it was like a minute and a half of Devin Williams, and I was just gonna let it play. Oh, we got some Kershaw. Oh, it's a changeup. That's boring. I was hoping it was a curveball.
Yeah, but he still makes them look foolish.
Yeah, it still does. Who is that? Is that Franmil Reyes? Yes, it is.
Well, I mean, Reyes is good, but I'm not that surprised.
Yeah,
he's got a little Pedro Serrano in him.
Yeah. Oh, Corbin Burns. Oh, Jesus. Don't do it to him.
And the crazy thing is, as good as Burns is, I still think Woodruff's better.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so apparently Corbin Burns was just doing his best to kill Tyler Naquin. Because both of those are against Tyler Naquin.
Poor Naquin.
I'm going to find this Devin Williams video.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really good pitching, especially in the National League. It's going to be tough for anyone that's not one of the Habs to do much of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the? Oh, here we go. I didn't know if they released these yet. Fangraphs came out with their projections for the playoffs.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. Wait, no, this is the wrong one. Where am I? Okay.
If you want, we've got this private chat here. If you want to send me the link to it, I can put it up on the screen.
That's right. I forgot we have a chat, because we're now professional.
Yeah.
Although I think we had the chat before. Well, I'm on the other computer. See, this is the problem when I'm not using the same thing. Sorry if I just disappeared, folks. I had to switch tabs for a second.
Oh, no, you didn't disappear.
Oh, good. Am I crooked?
No, looking good.
Damn
looking good.
I was hoping I was at least crooked. Don't worry. I'm getting a mic and a camera, and I'm going to put the laptop away and use the real computer.
I'm telling you, man, just use your phone like I do.
Yeah, but I don't have enough duct tape to tape it up.
That's fair. I'm just happy I had a random piece of plastic laying around my bedroom. Anyway, I'll show. This isn't the Devin Williams video I was looking for, but this one's equally as great, so I will show this one as well.
And once I find the chat, here it is, private chat.
So I'll get this up. Look at this. Same with Matt Robert.
Leave Luis alone.
Then, oh boy. Just same spot, not anymore. Okay, so I've got this. We can talk about this now. We can talk about this next week. What do you want to do?
I mean, we've been going for a while.
Yeah.
We'll save this for next. We'll save the full breakdown for next week.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I'll just put it up here. We can
put it up just so people get a taste of what we're talking about. It's there's gonna be a bunch of competitive races here, and then there's gonna be some not so competitive races.
What? First, are the Yankees really 4 wins better than the Red Sox?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
No.
Or the Rays,
Yeah, no, like that. The crazy thing is that one of the Yankees, Red Sox, or Rays, one of them's finishing fourth,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just insane.
Absolutely insane. What do we got here? White Sox, yes. Twins, a 500 team. Interesting.
Yeah, I would flop. I would swap them in the Royals, or them in the Tigers.
Yeah, I mean, why are the Guardians picked to finish third here?
Yeah, I don't get that.
Some of these projections I never agree with. So
No, I usually don't agree with projections at all, but I do like to see where people
whoa, the Mariners are all of a sudden below 500.
Yeah, that one.
When did that happen?
Like the Angels are still a 500 team. That's wild.
Still just very mid.
Yep, I mean
that pretty much is. I think these two teams could be a few games better than that, but I think that's the order this plays out in.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think the Cardinals are going to win that division just because of the Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I got to do a little bit more thinking on that one.
Yeah,
which is why I think next week we'll do our predictions and
official
preview,
and then
of the season, which is almost here. It's nice.
Oh, it's
opening day is almost here.
Yep.
But anything else you want to bring up?
No, I
before
think
we
that
get out of
just
here.
about does it.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, everyone, boys, girls, cretins, degenerates, everyone that's clicked on this and watching. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you follow us on our socials, all scrolling on the bottom. If you have not noticed, Mark spent a lot of time putting that together. So make sure you click, make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week.
Peace.